So the intention that we're setting up today is regarding imagining that our spine is like a storybook. So imagine, the little kinks that we get in our spine, the pains, the specific weaknesses, all sorts of things like that. Imagine that in our spine, so all the way from the tailbone up through the neck, imagine that that's like a storybook. And maybe the kinks are like the dragons in our story or the trolls or different things like that. And imagine that this represents 2023. So we are going to have amazing times, and we're also going to have maybe some dragons that we conquer this year. So imagine as we're working through the class, getting through our specific tight spots, it's like we're gaining the tools, the swords, the bow and arrow, all of these tools that will help us to conquer all that we need to conquer this year. So we can come out victorious, that we can come out with just an awesome epic story. So that's our intention, our little visualization all the way up and down our spine today that will lead us on. So let's take a moment to start off by stretching our body, stretch the arms to the back wall, let the shoulders wiggle to the right, shoulders wiggle to the left. Take 2 or 3 times to each side, just helping to feel the side ribs open, back muscles starting to open. Good. And then spine back through the center, right knee into chest, hug it in as deeply as you can. Feel how that affects the hip, the sacrum area. Maybe do a couple of ankle rolls clockwise and counter. And right leg stretches up to sky, grab onto it. Nice extension upward, moving into hamstring. First chance to start opening that area. If that gets tight, it'll pull our low back out of alignment. So starting to lengthen. On finding extension, one more breath in. Out. Good. Hook this right heel over to back left into the fabric. Then slide the shin in. So it's like a pigeon pose. You can get others. Or look at the mirror if you're confused. So that right hip getting a chance to open. Deep breath in. And out. Right leg extends up and then drops down. Left knee comes into the chest. Maybe some ankle rolls on that side. How is this hip, this part of the sacrum, how is that compared to the first half? Left and right sides have very different energies. Like the sun parts of the story versus the moon parts of the story. Good, and let's start to extend this leg up to sky. How is this hamstring? The sun has to do with more of our actions, our external stuff. The moon half, like this left half, has to do with our thoughts about things. So even as we go through the story, we have to conquer our thoughts. That can be one of the dragons that we have to come across, our own self. One more breath here, inhale. And then exhale, hook this heel to back right. That pigeon pose, once again, give that left hip a couple of breaths to stretch, to start opening for us. Inhale. Exhale. This leg comes out. Find another extension up to sky before you drop it down. Good. Dive the arms out the back end and then sweep down, kind of like a backstroke, so that it pushes the fabric down to the arms. From there, the chin starts to lift up and back. The head is falling backwards. Arms are open, just kind of a first chest opener. Easy. like to let the fabric fall a little bit further down, you can take it the back bend a bit deeper. Maybe hands even clasped behind back. All up to you how deep you take it. Don't push it too hard too early. Good inhale. Exhale, grab onto the fabric. Slowly roll the head up and then stretch over the legs. Weight of the head is drooping forward. The back of the neck is getting a nice chance just to stretch by the heavy head forward. Good. So sit back up for a moment. Find the fabric behind you. Extend it back out so that you can lay back. And then we're turning so that we face our body toward the front door. One hip stacked on top of the other hip. Like a side body laying position. We call it fetal position in aerial. So from here, we're going to curl into a tight ball, elbows to knees, and then extend back straight and arch backward a little. So follow your breath a couple of times. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, extend out and back. Let's take 3 more. Huge cat-cow for the spine. Here's 2. And 1. Good. So from here, we're going to continue to turn onto our belly. This one can feel kind of funky. At first, we're going to dangle the arms out the back. So the fabric is kind of under the armpit area again. The arms are dangling down, the head is dangling down. Feel how the belly is the lowest spot. That's the center of the fabric. It's the heaviest point of the fabric. So just let that be bringing you into a very slight back arching shape. Beautiful. So as the head rises back up, we're going to start working the elbows under the chest. So slide one elbow in, then the other. Once you've got elbows in, it's almost like a child pose. You're sitting your glutes back to your heels, but then we're rising up to kind of that hero's pose, sitting position. If your feet are out, you might want to take them back again so it feels nice and secure. Yeah, that's okay. Get your feet in and then fun working your hips back to your feet. Take your time. So we're starting to find our arms on the front end of the fabric. I like to spread it a little bit wider than the shoulders. Come up to a high kneeling position. So straight line from knees to shoulders. Lock the arms straight into the fabric in front of you. And it's like a rolling roll out. Feel the core engaged. Feel yourself in that difficult spot. The shoulder strength is there. The core strength is there. And rise back. We're going to do that a few times. So roll out, get to the point where you feel just not too much, not straining, but you are feeling the muscular action there. And return back. 3 more. Out, hold for a moment. And come in. 2. Almost like a kneeling plank. And then 1 more. Hold a little bit longer. This is building that gentle back strength for our story. Good. And then this time continue to plop all the way down to the We're going to take the second side to the cat-cow. So now we're turning to face to the back door. And it'll be 5 cycles. So curl in, elbows to knees. And then arch back. Take another 4. And 3. 2. And 1. Beautiful. So roll onto your back again. We're going to go straight into vampire's pose from here. So if you know vampire, you'll start fitting right into it. If vampire is new to you, you'll stick with me one step at a time. So the first step is the head needs to go out the back end. And then we don't want too much fabric at the shoulders, so we need to start scooting some of the fabric down. So step your feet in closer to your glutes. And then as you lift up the hips, extend the legs out and that slides some of the fabric down. So do that a couple of times until you just have one layer of fabric covering shoulders. Good, so once you're there, keep on scooting if you're not there, but hands reach up left and right. The feet hike up to sky. And then it's the outside edge of the foot that presses outward to touch the inside of the fabric. So outside of foot to the inside of fabric, you press into that. The core is able to be engaged and rise upside down. So I'll come by and help anybody that still wants that aid. It's okay. For the first time, it's always fun to keep still. Your fabric, you want just a little bit less. And you also just want to do a little bit. Good, good. Okay, so do that. So this touches this. Okay. This, you got it exactly. Yep. And by pressing into it. Yep. Press into it. One. Four. That. Lift it even more. Lift even more. And this is vampire. So this is the chance for us to get into that tight shoulder area, ease out that part of our story. No worries, I bumped down the thermostat, so the heater should be going off in just a moment. I know the area gets warmer. So yeah, no worries, that'll be off in just a moment. So my little note with inversions, if you're new to inverting, you don't have to stand as long as anybody else. Just when your head feels like it's ready to come back down, you're welcome to slide back down. Take your head back in, just rest for a little while when you are ready, but no rush. Okay, those that are still upside down, take your last couple of breaths, make sure the body's balanced. And start to work your way back to laying down. We lay down for a couple of breaths until head feels good. Eventually, you'll help me know that you're ready to eventually move on by starting to sit back up. That's kind of my sign to help me know. So if you need more of a break, you feel like just, a couple more breaths would be helpful. Don't feel rushed up. Awesome. So as we're leaning forward, let the head roll a full time over to the right ear. And go down through the center, over to the left ear. And down through center, rolling back up. Let's take a twist. So a twist over to front door, bunch up fabric to front door side. Your arm that's closer to the back painted wall, that arm stretches backwards, or it can circle around the back side of head. Good. Your left arm can either stay on the fabric in front of you, or the left hand can go for the right foot, extending right leg straight in front. More breath here, in, and out. Good, release both hands, and bunch up fabric to back. So again, the shoulder to the back wall opens or circles around the back side of the head. Set up this part of the twist first, the spine stacking tall as it rotates. Good. And if you wanted right hand to reach for left foot, left leg extending in front of you, that's inhale, exhale, good, release, bunch up the fabric to each side, and we're gonna exit out. So I like to tilt my legs up for a moment and then tilt forward to come out. Beautiful. When you're there, take fabric under shoulder blades, walk backwards to take all the slack out, and then we're bringing the feet right under the plumb line. So it's kind of like this shadow line that crosses across the whole room. Bring your feet up to that point. We're gonna stick together so we don't bump hips with anybody, but I'll show you one. This is what we're doing, a huge hip circle. It looks like this. So we're gonna all go to the same direction. Your hips are gonna move toward the front door first. We're gonna take 5 circles back to back. We're going to the front door in 3, 2, 1, go. Here's 5. Circle around your knees. 4, 3, 2, 1. When you finish that last one, pause. And moving toward the back door side, bump your feet up just a little. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so back door in 3, 2, 1, go. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Into the back. Bring the hands open again. Arch the heart up. The neck, you can either kind of keep it tucked in, or if it's comfortable to lift it up. That's okay. Just another breath there. Huge inhale. Exhale. Bring the flat hands onto the fabric. Sit the hips back. It's like a square shape in our hips. Beautiful. As we start to soften the knees, drop one knee at a time down underneath you. And we take a camel pose, the hands open. Even you're allowed to push the weight forward, letting the fabric hold you up. Good. And come back, weight over the knees. We'll start to lean forward, feel the fabric slide past your shoulders, slide down your triceps, and about when it gets close to your elbows, your hands reach up and grab each side. So it's like a backwards grab. So Sean, you went directly up to grab, you go backwards and let it slide to grab. Yeah, so let it slide off of your, watch me. So hook your elbows, lean forward, and then just reach backwards. Yes, let it slide past your elbows. Yep, and then reach your hands in to grab. That's it. Okay, so from here, start to send a little bit of weight of the hips forward and feel how that opens your chest back. Good. The weight of the hips over the knees. Free out the hands. And just take a nice child pose. The hands drop forward on the floor. Roll the spine up. Grip about as wide as shoulders. 3 times we're doing this little sequence. So we lean back into a quadricep stretch. Then the head can lean back. From here, lifting the hips up. It's a nice back bend shape. Good. Arm strength pulls us up through camel pose. All the way up to kneel. And then arms go forward. Keep the hips over the knees, puppy. The heart droops down. Good. Slowly send the hips back to the heels. Unravel yourself back to that quad stretch. Good. And then same thing. So hips first. And then arm strength up. Good. Unraveling to puppy. Child. One more time. Roll all the way back. Hips up. Rolling up. And one more puppy. Good. Beautiful. So stack the spine, reach a bit higher. Use that reach to help you try to curl into a tiny little ball first, and then land right foot forward, left foot. Good. Reset back to the previous grip, and then lean forward, half pyramid. Good. Rise spine up. Once again, get for the grip like you're holding a mug. Curl into a little ball. Switch the legs. Good. Again, grab forward and pyramid. Rising up. One more time, grip like a mug. Curl in, try to hold for 3, 2, 1. That's okay, then land. Good work. So bring the fabric like a belt across the hip bones, not hitting in the guts. Good. Walk forward to take any slack out of the fabric. As we start to bend forward, when you get to that point where you definitely have the fabric on the bones, then drop hands to the floor. Several steps back into downward facing dog, right under hips under palms up. So downward facing dog, let the hands and the feet press into the earth so the hips are almost lifting out of the back. We'll take a twist from here. So right hand plants in front of the face. The left hand reaches up for either strand of the fabric, whichever you can reach. Try to feel that shoulder, that right shoulder rolling open. And we'll start to switch. Right hand drops down in front of face. Left hand reaches up. Grab either strand. Feel the shoulder even rolling back. Good. As you drop back down, set up the downward facing dog again, hips really high. Then feeling all that sensation through maybe calves, maybe up hamstrings. If this is about all your hips can handle with that massage, You can stay here or even come out, take the breaks and come back in. If you can handle a hip hang today, start to lift up the toes, hug around the knees. I like to have moments in this curled in position, feeling how the story of my spine is affected by rounding in. And then maybe I'll even take moments of arching where I plant my hands, walking hands forward, and then kind of just drop the chest down. Like I mentioned earlier, if you feel like your hips need a break, you can take a break at any point. Just slowly roll the head up. You can come back into it if you wish, but I'll give people some time to be inverting here. Getting about half the class ready to come out. So when you get there, no rush. You can still have a little bit of time. But when you get there, your feet on the floor, you slowly roll your head up, and then you'll take the fabric behind you so you just lay back. I like to clasp the hands behind the head and sway over to the right, bending the right knee. And take it a few times to each side. So when your head feels like it gives you check marks all the way across all your systems, you'll start to walk backwards to stand up on your own. The fabric frees out in front of you. Good, let's grab just slightly wider than shoulders. We're stepping up, right up under plumb line, and then letting the hips spin to that 90-degree angle. If you'd like to sway just a little bit past your mat to the right and to the left, that's okay. Well, how the spine is communicating at this point. Quite a few things that start to open it. Returning through center, slight bend in the knees, roll the spine up. Take our right thigh all the way inside. So sliding the hands up high, push the hips forward. This is a chance to get into the left psoas, the front of the left hip. Sometimes even that left calf as you try to drop the ball back. Just depends on your tight spots. Yeah, if you notice the angle kind of funky, it's not going forward, you'll readjust the foot that's on the ground. That's what would make the difference. Okay, we're going to take a twist from here. So the left arm needs to come forward inside the fabric. You're hooking the forearm to the outside of that right thigh, and then plant the right hand on the fabric high, push into it to help to twist. The right hand circles around the fabric. That grip helps to safely unwind us. And then we're going to turn open to warrior two. So both hands on the left side, turn your standing toes to the left. Start to sink your weight forward. Maybe the front arm reaches forward. Maybe the back arm reaches back. A little bit of pressure on the inner thighs, kind of a slight squeeze in even as you're going forward. It's that aspect of strength. Good. Hands return onto the fabric. Return your weight over the center. Slide fabric to the ankle. Both hands on the left. We're still facing to the back door. Slide left hand up, right hand down. And then sink some weight forward to the point that it feels good. Not too much. Squeezing our thighs together, face back forward, one hand on each side. And we're going to take a twist from here. So you can either grip to have more of a safety aspect, so it's left hand on right, or push the left hand on the outside and pull. The right hand opens up. Good. Facing forward, both hands slide high, splits forward. Okay, weight back through the center. Gripping high, lock this right leg straight, and then we can step left foot in, holding in this pike for 2 or 3 swings. Good, right foot to floor. So slide it down to this left thigh. Hands high, warrior 1, sink the weight. Again, if it's a funky angle, shift the foot that's on the ground. See if you can feel the spine elongating up. We're not collapsing, we're not rounding, we're trying to lengthen. For the twist, right hand comes inside, hook it to the outside of that left thigh. I'll even slide the right shoulder to rest on the fabric. Left hand's high on that left side and just press into it to twist. And the left hand grips to safely unwind. Facing toward the right, the toes turn to the right. Sink the weight forward. Maybe one or both arms open up, warrior 2. With your core lightly engaged, your back lightly engaged, lengthening up. Beautiful. Hands on. Squeezing our thighs together to return back. Slip to the ankle. So on this right hand side, right hand up, left hand down. Side splits. Flip your grip. Yeah, that'll open your chest. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, weight over the center, one hand on each side, face forward. And here's the twist. So right hand grabs left or right hand pushes on left to the outside. Good. Left arm opens up. Both hands up high on each side. Sink the weight forward, splits. Come back. Good. Step out. We're going to stay on that side. I'm just going to switch so we can copy each other. So this will be kind of a fun little challenge. If I feel comfortable with all of you doing it, so just follow it with me one step at a time. This one's a really good point that we can feel the spine pushing out to kind of flatten ourselves in the fabric and maybe even arch the heart up. So start off with the right foot stepping into the fabric. The hand slide up high. And you're trying to use the core as you come up to stand, so that'll minimize a crazy swing. So core slowly lifting us up, both feet are in. We're gonna face our chest to the front door, so that means this left shoulder comes forward and then you grip up above your head as you start to face toward the front door. And then in front of you, your right foot is going to rotate open so the toes are to the back door. Step up high, and then you'll start to inch your way into a 90-degree seated place. So both legs kind of try to meet each other. We should have the right foot on top. Good. I'll usually from here slide the fabric to one of my glutes, so that way it's just slightly less intense. Good. So both of my hands are gripping up above my head. We're gonna start off with the fabric sliding a little bit closer to the left shoulder so the head is past the right side. Good. So from here, we're gonna push ourselves into a flat line. Good. And then even arch the heart up and back. Good. If we need to just take turns, we can take turns. That's okay. When you've done the right side for a moment, come down to the L seat. And then we'll eventually switch left foot on top. Good. When your head switches to the left side, the fabric will be on the right shoulder. Yeah, you need to take turns, whatever you need to do, go for it. But we'll have a moment to get that nice massage into the right shoulder. Good. So find a moment to kind of cross your legs on the inside once you've done both sides. So it's like a cross-legged seat. And try to see if you can find balance. Arm opening to each side. Yeah. Having one hand on each side. You'll lift up for a moment, pull yourself out, and softly lower down. More or less gracefully. Good job. It's all good. Good. Let's give those shoulders a break. Grab back onto the fabric. Take that L arch, the L shape forward. Good. Bend the knees, roll up. And take right knee inside. Hands grip tightly for a moment to lower down to the left knee on floor. Left hand grabs to right side. Right hand goes to the back heel. If you need to tuck the toes, that's okay. That gives you a couple of extra inches. You still can't reach, just place the hand on the low back. Good catch. Okay, we're going to switch the arms, right hand to left, and left hand to that back heel. Okay, rising up. This one not everybody can do, so I'll show you what to do in just a moment if you can't quite get there. We're going to try to inch the fabric to the ankle. It's a really deep stretch, but you're gently leaning forward into it. If that doesn't happen, what you'll do is just plant the hands to the floor on the left. That's okay, just plant the hands to the floor on the left and then slide it to the ankle. Good. We'll all get to the left in just a moment. So if you're forward still, take 2 more breaths. Good, and then everybody plant to the floor on the left. I like to scoot the knee back just a little bit so the foot is pointing more directly to the mirror, even lower to elbows. And as we walk the hands to the back of the mat, take a moment with the plank so you're leaving this right foot in. You're curling the left knee to the nose and just holding like a Left foot lands on the floor in a three-legged dog shape. The right foot slides out of the fabric. It'll end up in just a normal downward facing dog. Walk your heels, your feet to your hands, forward fold. And circle the arms up to the sky to rise. Hands to heart. Facing back forward, one more side. Left thigh in the fabric. Tight grip. Right knee softly lowers to floor. Okay, so left hand grips high on the right. Right hand to the back heel. And rise up. Right hand to the left. Left hand to the back. Good. One hand on each side. If your leg will let you slide to the ankle, go there and lean forward. Yep, hands to the right on the floor. If not, and slide the fabric to the ankle with that. Good. You're forward, take a couple more breaths, lean into it. Last inhale. And exhale, hands to the right. The knee can scoot back just a bit. Maybe lower to elbows. Hands swap to the back of the mat. So same but opposite. We push the left foot into the fabric, and we curl this right knee to the nose. It's slightly rounded up with the spine because that helps us to really engage. Gonna go one more breath in, and three-legged dog. Start to slide that left foot out. Downward facing dog. Hands to feet or feet to hands. Forward fold. Now rise. And hands to heart. Let's take one last inversion. So this is really a chance to let our spine just drop down. So standing in front of your fabric, the fabric's over each shoulder like a little backpack. Our thumbs are what slides in. So the palm is pushing down to keep the fabric across the sacrum. We don't want it to go any higher or lower. So keep it glued there. One foot steps back. Already start to engage the core as you lean back just a little bit. Core is tight. Tiptoe forward under plumb line. Then once you're under plumb line, hands up, knees wide. Let the feet wrap around the fabric. As soon as the feet are wrapped, you're welcome to let the hands go and just let the spine hang. So you're welcome to do little variations with the arms. So for you, I would slide the fabric a little further down. So variations with the arms could include clasping hands behind the back, taking a twist by walking one hand to each end of the mat. There's all sorts of variations. Just see what feels good for your spine. Read your spine like a storybook and try to kind of readjust according to what the spine is telling you. Yep, listening to your bodies. No rush to come out. Those that are ready to come out, yep, give your head some time. Usually we'll lean back in the stargaze. So as this is the last inversion of the day, if your body is just telling you, I need to be upside down longer, go for it. So I'm not saying you have to do any coming out. Also, if your recovery needs a little bit longer, take longer. Your head, we definitely don't want to rush into dizziness or anything. But for those that are ready, let's take one last shoulder opener before we wrap up with our final Shavasana. So you're walking up to the top of your mat, facing the fabric. And then grab to the front end of it, leave it out. Good. When we face back forward, we're sliding elbows inside. Elbows are lifting up to shoulder height or slightly more. Step right foot forward, left foot back. I'm like even past my mat if you need to. Good. So just do what you need to do to open up the shoulders. So it might be leaning forward. It might be lunging really low. Just kind of play with what you need to do to get the shoulders, the pec area open. Slow deep breaths into it. Take a break. So feet step together, elbows slide in. Roll the head from the center over to the right shoulder. Over to the left shoulder. And back up. Okay, so one more side. Elbows slide up, left foot forward. Again, sink down or lean forward, whatever it is you need to do to fill the front of the shoulders open, to fill the pecs open. One more good deep breath in. Out. Good. As we come back, listen to your body for what type of Shavasana you want. If you want to lay on the floor today, grounded Shavasana, there's nothing wrong with it. If you want to come back inside, flip your hands so your thumbs hook, and then take about half the fabric, about 5 grips. And then you'll come back to head inside. Glutes in, your thighs are in, your head comes, legs, all of that to lay all the way down. No rush to be in Shavasana. Take your time to get set up. We're coming into this final shape for the last few minutes. Notice how when you read books, there's kind of like a feeling to it. Like maybe it makes you laugh a lot. It makes you smile. It makes you happy. Maybe it's dramatic, but you love to see what happens next. Or, maybe it's very romantic. So think of your story, your book, your spine, all of these metaphors that we're drawing together. And what's the overall feeling that you'd like to have in your body, in your spine, in your story over 2023? See if you can kind of draw on some memory that's like that feeling to invite this emotion into your body. With that is the emotion that we're trying to feel the next couple of minutes. Breathing in that emotion, out, trying to invite it in as palpably as possible. To deepen inhales, exhales. Use little movements back to the body. Way to stretch out in ways that feel good, helping to return to this present moment. Another couple of breaths. So sooner or later, you're ready to rise up to a comfortable seated space. Rise up, we join hands together in front of heart. We reconnect with our intention one more time, our spine being that storybook. Feel how by lifting up a little taller, it's almost like we have more courage in our story. By letting the heart be a little bit more open, shoulders rolled back, like we have that heart connection in our story. Imagine the spine in these ways tell all sorts of goodies about our story, and that we've also conquered all sorts of dragons. So with this marvelous story and our choice of the ending to lead us into 2023, let's wrap up the time that we shared together with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. Om. May we be filled with light, happiness, and peace. Namaste.